Hey y'all, I'm Scotty McCreery, and I am this week's Man of the Hour. Over the next 30 minutes, me and Justin talked about my new album, but we also talked about just how to stay in a good mood, feeling good in this crazy world that we live in, and different tips and tricks to do that. So hope y'all enjoy.
Here he is, folks. The man who allows me to feel so comfortable in my roots being from Tennessee. Scotty McCreery, thank you for saying yes. And thank you for putting out the album that we're probably going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about. Same truck, dude.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Heck yeah.
He's in Nashville. I wish I was in Nashville, Smashville. You guys know this. I'm from Tennessee. Um, and Scotty is originally from Carolina, but's hanging out in Nashville now. There's something so special about being a country boy, which I'll tell you guys about with Scotty. But let me introduce you real quickly. You guys probably listened to the pre-roll ad at this point. It's Monday, so thank you for tuning in. Scotty McCreery is probably one of the bigger guests we've had on the show for sure, especially in the music scene. But he's also both the first country artist and the youngest male artist at this time to debut his first project at number one on the all genre Billboard Top 200 back when that album hit. And he's also earned a platinum and 2 gold certified albums. He sang for the president. He opened for people like Garth Brooks, toured with Old Dominion, Brad Paisley, Rascal Flatts, etc. He wrote a book. He even made Steve Harvey laugh, right? From what we've been told. You have a beautiful PR team, by the way. I'm literally reading what my friends at your firm have told me, which is incredible.
Great.
Yet Scotty McCreery has also gotten married, went to college, have incredible friendships and family, found time to travel, and has done a lot of great things that one should experience in life. So, Scotty, let's start this podcast really quick.
Absolutely.
As if I didn't just read your whole, memoir. Talk us through how you've managed over the years, man. And then we'll get into your album in just a second. But how have you managed to do so much? And you're 27, dude. You're just 2 years older than I.
Right, dude. It feels like I've lived a lifetime already, and I'm still not even close to 30 yet. So, yeah, it's been an amazing 10 years, an amazing ride. We've packed a big punch into the last decade, and I'm just a big balance guy. So as much crazy, cool stuff as we get to do, I also try and get home and like just take it easy and kind of recharge the batteries. That kind of helps me keep going. But it's been a wild ride, man, for sure.
10 years, that's a whole decade, dude. Someone that's 10 years old right now probably saw you when they were growing up, and came out the womb is like, oh my God, I'm listening to such incredible music. Oh, that's Mr. McCreery. And 10 years later, they're probably still a super fan of yours, man. I like that you bring up balance. People nowadays think that doesn't necessarily exist. They're like, I need work and life. But I think for you in your life is music. Music is your life, right? Your life is the people you're around. And most likely those people and the things that you're getting to do are relative to music. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And, I'd be doing music even if it wasn't a career, but, luckily can make a living out of it. But, yeah, music it's around you 24/7, and it's definitely no different for me.
I love it. If you're watching us on video right now, what's up? What's up? What's up? You see these 3 guitars behind it. Which one's your favorite? Is it the one on the floor?
So this one was made by a fan, and it's like it sounds amazing. I was so impressed. This one, Scarlet, that's the one that I got on Idol and used a few performances there, and that one's the one that BMI gives you for your first #1 single, so that's very special to me too.
Oh, you're special to so many people. You know why? Because you put out such good music that reminds us. I told Scotty this before we got on. I was like, yo, I'm not just a fan. I respect every piece of music you've put out, man.
Thanks, man.
We have to talk about this album. We don't have to. There's no contract that says we do, but I'm obsessed with it. I was just playing Same Truck. So this album, tell you guys a little bit about it real quickly. Same Truck was produced by Frank Rogers, Derek Wells, and Aaron. I'm going to butcher his last name. It's Aaron Eshuis.
Yeah, that's what I said first too. It's S-Heis, but it doesn't. How do you say S-Heis?
Yeah, right. S-Heis, right? This is the same team that produced your previous project, the RIAA Gold Certified Seasons Change, that was released in 2018, which was the #1 album on the Billboard Country Albums chart, right? So then you're working with the same people here. Those #1 hits from the album in 2018 were 5 More Minutes, which is probably one of my favorite. This Is It, and In Between. But Same Truck is out now, right? I guess it was out last Friday. It's Monday after. Tell us about it. How did you bring this one to life, man?
Yeah, this was it felt like it took forever to make this record, and last year obviously felt like 5 years wrapped into one. But We were making an album before the pandemic, and we had a lot of songs written and finished up, and I liked it. It wasn't my favorite album, but it was time for an album to come out, and we had to get something together.
Mm.
But then the pandemic hit, and obviously awful circumstances. But if we're looking for a silver lining for me, I think it gave me time to keep writing, and it kind of put me in a state where my headspace was like I got the chance to sit and reflect and think about the last 10 years, which I really haven't had just time to stay around the house since
Mm.
I was 15 years old. Things got started at 16 for me. So, oh no.
What's happening? This is a live podcast, so if you're getting a
Oh,
call, dude. No.
oh no. Some Adobe Flash thing just
Oh,
popped up,
that's
buddy.
okay,
Oh,
dude.
we're
That
still
that means
on.
your
I thought it,
computer's probably older than you.
yeah, probably. But no, but I had the time to kind of sit and reflect, and that's kind of where these songs came from, was that headspace. And
Mm.
so I was glad I got that time to finish up and make kind of a brand new record from what we started with.
And we're gonna get into some lyrics of Same Truck. You hear I say lyrics? I think every time I talk to someone from the South, my roots come back out.
Lyrics,
You should hear it,
lyrics.
lyrics, and then y'all. I said y'all last night at dinner. Everybody's like, "What the hell? Where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm a little bit of everything." Wait, okay, Scotty, let's talk about this for a second. I feel like during the pandemic, and this I was gonna ask you this after I brought up the lyrics, but I'll do it now. The pandemic gave us way too much time, and now, I mean, companies aren't even going back. And listen, I'm a little bit in corporate media, so I can tell you this, but like from the corporate side of house, for the majority of Americans, they're now talking 2022. So knowing that we're going to have even more time at the house and more time to keep being creative, that seems like, I know that's what you did during the pandemic, was continue to write, kind of figured out what kind of music you were going to bring to life. Any tips on how all of us who are bunkered up at the house can stay creative as this process of staying at home or being home for a long period of time long eights?
Yeah, I think you just got to force yourself to stay busy.
Mm.
It's very easy to sit there and get on that couch and watch Netflix, binge it sun up, sundown. And now, granted, I did my fair share of that too,
Yeah.
over the last year. But I convinced my wife to turn one of our guest bedrooms into like a studio for me. So
Mm.
I spent so much time in there last year just playing the guitar. It was like I was back to being 13 years old again, learning how to play, my favorite Brad Paisley song on guitar.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in years, but yeah, I was just making myself stay busy, stay creative, think of song ideas, write songs, and
Mm.
yeah, and it definitely helped, and it kind of made the year, as slow as it went by, it helped it move along.
Hmm. The reason I ask is because I think a lot of us got in our head too much. And when you are staying busy creatively, it allows you to tap out of that and be like, oh, well, staying, I guess, at the house isn't so bad.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
so
it's crazy that they're already talking 2022. I remember last year, folks were like, they're not going to let us go back to the office until 2021.
yeah.
What?
And now
So,
you're like 2022. These years don't
golly,
even exist anymore. I'm ready for
no,
2030 when you and I can do an interview, and we'll be talking about what happened about 6 years ago. Things will look,
right?
they're very different.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Scotty,
It's
all right,
just
Same Truck. So this is the name of the album, but probably the top song that you've put out for it. It's out now, but I wanted to read some of these lyrics. I'm not gonna sing them. You know what I mean? I wish I
come
could.
on,
I
man.
would have asked you to sing it a cappella, but I don't want to put you on the spot like that, dude. You've already done enough work by putting great music out. So I just want to read this so that people have a good understanding of like the song in particular. To me, when this chorus came out, it's the chorus piece. I feel like there's so many messages within, and I just want to ask you what your intentions were with the chorus. So it starts with, and we're all in the same truck, heading down a different 2 lane, kicking up the same dust, praying for the same rain, closing down the same bars, different wishes on the same stars, getting every mile out of these good years till the good Lord calls us up. We're all in the same truck. Yeah, we're all in the same truck. I wish I could have sang that. I almost cried reading that third bottom down,
That
but
was
I want
poetry, hearing
can
you read it like that, man.
wait, we're on to something. Maybe, well, let me shut up, but we might be onto something, turning your lyrics into poems, and I'll just be your poet person.
Hey,
I'll open up for you. No, okay.
that could work. That could work.
What were your intentions behind that chorus buildup, man?
Yeah, I just think in the last year, it's just been so much divisiveness, and it's all been people going at each other, and I have this opinion, you have this one. We hate each other. It's like, man, like we're all on the same team here. Like we all have the same, uh, a lot of the same shared experiences. We just went through a lot of the big shared experience, and for me, I learned that I always believed that we're all a lot more alike than we are different. Very much so. But the last album I put out with songs like 5 More Minutes and This Is It and In Between, and
Mm-hmm.
just the amount of social media I get every day or at a meet and greet at the show, and they're like, man, 5 More Minutes helped me losing my cousin, or This Is It, me and my husband or me and my wife just walked down the aisle to that song. It's like, man, those were all very personal songs for me, and the fact that all these people relate to them, it's like, hey guys, we're all in this together. And that's kind of where Same Truck came from.
Mm.
And then we just turned it into a country song with back roads and dust and
Yeah,
rain and cold beer. So
that's what it is. I love country music, man, because of guys like you. There's so much intention behind the lyrics, what's produced, and then ultimately the actual single or EP or album that goes out to the world. And you're right, people are dancing at their weddings to your songs, man. How does that make you feel looking back at the 16-year-old that was on American Idol?
it's amazing, man. If you had told him then that he'd still be able to do this now, making records and people actually show up to your shows and sing with you, it's nuts. And the wedding stuff, that never gets old. That's like their biggest day of their lives, and they're like making you a part of it with your music. So that's always pretty crazy.
That's the power of music, Scotty. You know what? So I think a lot of people know this, but you look very different now. You're 27. I think you were 17, right? 16, 17, going on
Yeah.
17 on American Idol. And you've accomplished a lot, which we alluded to at the top of this conversation. 10 years goes by very quickly. So give us a take on time. I mean, I feel like you've learned a lot. You've seen a lot. You've toured a lot, traveled a lot. Luckily, you're in Nashville. I feel like Nashville keeps you grounded. But I think a lot of teenagers go through that quick celebrity phase of like immediate stardom. People love you. You're traveling. It's like it goes nonstop for the past 10 years. But let's talk about this idea of staying grounded, especially as a countryman. I wouldn't say countryman, sorry, but like someone born and raised in the South and who always goes back to his roots. I've often said I'll end up in Nashville at one point, if not Los Angeles. And it's because there is something special about the South in which people are raised a certain way that even when you are a big pop country star, right, or someone who tours the world at this point and has seen so much, you still allow yourself to stay grounded. But how?
Yeah, I think to me, it's the 3 F's is what I always say are the most important things to me, and that's faith, family, and friends. And I think it's just huge to have that balance. Again, going back to that in life, it can be so crazy with what I do. I mean, we're hopping on the tour bus, we're going who knows where, and it's a different city every single night. And you get to do these shows, and like you said, start out so young, and we're going on Ellen, and we're singing at the World Series, and it was so many crazy things. But keeping family and friends close and your faith important to you. And I get back to Carolina all the time, where I'm from, to do that. And like you said about time goes fast, man. The biggest example I have is when I started college, and adults were like, "Hey, enjoy it because it's gonna go by quick." I was like, "What are you talking about? I got 4 years." And then all of a sudden, snap your finger, and it's like, "Oh, well, I'm 3 years out of college now." So pretty nuts.
Now, how'd you balance music while through college? I've met a lot of people who can do that, but that's hard, man, especially after, I mean, you were 16 when you first started everything, or
Yeah,
blew up rather.
yeah, it was different. I did Monday, Wednesday classes with a day off in between on Tuesday. A lot of times I'd fly to Nashville on Tuesday morning and fly back that night. And then Thursday we'd be heading out. We were on the road with Rascal Flatts at that point. So I'd head out on tour with them. And I'll tell you, man, it's a pretty big buzzkill when like you're singing in front of 20,000 people and you have to get off stage and you have a paper due by midnight.
Yeah.
You're like, dang it, but we made it work. It was
Could
fun.
you not just walk up to the teacher and say, "Hey, I'm Scotty McCreery,"
Oh,
and
dude,
just
the
sing to them?
teachers, they were
didn't care.
they were all pretty rough on me. Like, how like if your dad's the coach or your mom's
That's right.
the coach, it's like they're extra hard on you. It's like teachers were extra hard on me because they didn't want to show the other kids that they were being easy on me or something. But hey, it was all good.
Best memory from college, go, and then I'll give you mine.
Well, it wouldn't be school. We had a
For none of us.
yeah, right. we had a party, 21st party from my buddy Bird. We called it Birdapalooza. I made a sign, put it over our house. We were expecting like 75 people to show up, and it was like 400 plus people showed up, and
Nice.
it was like our side street was red on Google Maps. It was amazing. It was wild. I mean, it really was.
That's what it is. I think that the beautiful thing about college, I was just gonna say big football game. It was my first football game as a Tennessee cheerleader running out. And
Awesome.
which I was just telling Scotty this, everybody tuning in now. We're gonna try to get him to Neyland Stadium. So I might need your help later. I'll have you guys put in some reviews over emails and we're gonna shove it down the
Let's do
chancellor's
it.
throat and say get Scotty McCreery to come play at halftime. There's a beautiful thing about college that I think people often forget, especially now that they're going through virtual learning. So hopefully that we can debunk that a little later. We can get everybody back on campus and stuff. But
Yeah.
okay, but a little bit more on country music and this feel good aspect. Every time I'm running up and down New York City here, I don't hear anybody playing country music. My boy and I ran 10 miles today, and I was like, wait, I was bumping your song. And
There we
I
go.
just, well, because it's not often people are running a country music, but I get
Yeah.
very in my feel good feelings, right? In a feel good
Yeah.
mood during country, any
Yeah.
type of country music, except for the kinds that are about the breakups and stuff. But even then, it's like, oh,
Sure.
you feel something. So for you though, as you're writing it, and you probably been listening to it for your whole life now too, right? You mentioned Brad
Yeah.
Paisley and all these other folks you've been on tour with and looked up to for a long time. I call this a feel good podcast. So give us a run for our money here. And where does feeling good sit with you as someone who writes, produces, sings, performs country music?
So I think feeling good is humongous. I think it's if you feel good inside, you're gonna project goodness outside, you know. So
Mm,
country music to me does that for me. There's obviously the heartbreak songs and stuff, but
yeah.
even then, for me, I can appreciate, those songs, the Keith Whitleys and kind of the older heartbreak songs and stuff. But man, you get to driving and you put the windows down. It's a nice fall day, say 65 degrees, and you're bumping some Billy Currington Good Directions or something like
Mm,
it's gonna put you in a good mood. It's just you can't not be in a good mood when you're doing that. So
yeah.
yeah, I think country music can do that for you for sure.
I think so too. It triggers something over the past like 12 years of my life since I was just like kind of figured out what Tennessee was and went to UT and all this other stuff. And
Yeah.
the reason I ask about feel good music is because I think we're all taking life too seriously. I was on Instagram the other day. I think I
Amen.
put up a story, don't you think? So I just wanted to ask you about that too, with relation to feel good music and this album that you just recently put out, man. I feel like we're all taking life a little too seriously when we shouldn't. And something that country music always does to me is reminds me that life is good and we have a lot to be grateful for. We have a lot to feel good about. Would you say the same?
Yes, absolutely. I think number one, you gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy life. It's a lot of it's very easy to look out into the world and be bogged down by all the news and stuff. So I even went so far, I think like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I just like on all my Twitters and Insta, like just unfollowed all the news outlets. Like I'll
Yeah.
eventually hear about it. I'll get the news in some way, shape, or form. But like if I'm having a good day, like I'm in a good mood, and then I just scroll through Twitter and all of a sudden I see something and now I'm in a bad mood. It's like, why am I gonna let something on this small little device ruin my day when I'm over here vibing? So
Mm,
so yeah, that's what I've done, and it's helped me just continue to like consistently be in a better mood throughout the day. Because yeah, I don't know that we were made to like see everything that's going on in the world. Nobody ever did this until 10, 15 years ago, and it's like a
yeah.
lot to take on. It's a lot to
Yeah.
take in.
Especially when you were an American Idol. I think you were too busy. You didn't even look at your phone that much. And now it's part of the job.
It is. I mean, you got to stay connected to that thing and social
Yeah.
media and everything. I'm like the worst at that too, but I try. I try.
That's all we ask for, dude. You try and you end up producing some masterpieces. I gotta ask
Yeah.
about the before I ask this next question, which is our last one. Y'all, I know I think we have yet to have someone for the full hour. If we have
Oh
anybody for
no.
the full hour, we go into like 3 hour sessions. But
Oh really?
this has been such an incredible conversation, man. With the phone thing, really quickly though, I mean, we're categorized as a self-improvement podcast, as we say, feel good. And I think if you're tuning in right now and you're questioning how much, I mean, to Scotty's point, how often you're looking at your phone, what you're consuming, who's contacting you, you have full controllership of exactly what is on that phone. You can delete the apps. You can turn off notifications. You can really just not give people your number sometimes. You can
Right.
unfollow accounts, right? You can put it away for an hour and give yourself the grace period of doing so. So I just want to throw that out there too. It's a little nugget I think you and I probably have thought about, but I hope that we're all activating that.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I really do.
You know, final question for you, buddy. It's a little on legacy. I feel like someone like you has thought about this as you look back at the past 10 years in the past year. Does that make sense? So we were sitting at home. I know you were in that room bunkered up being creative and doing incredible music production and just getting ready to produce this really. But as you looked back on 10 years, as you look forward to 10 more of that, you know what I mean? Like life is so short, dude. What do you want to be remembered for as Scotty McCreery, the one who everybody knows now, the one that your family and friends down in Carolina loved when you were first born, and probably love even more now that you're probably like helping them, in whatever ways that you can with your brand and such. But what do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah, I've said this from day one, and it's still kind of the mantra that I live by. I just want to have a positive impact on people's lives through the music, and write songs that are going to help people, write songs that are going to put people in a good mood while they're jogging through New York City. I just think that's important. There's so much craziness and stuff. So to be a light is kind of what I hope to be, for the last 10 years and the next 10 years. And I hope people see that.
We see it, man. We see it and we hear it. I gotta stop you on the New York City. No, ain't nobody driving here. All of us walk, but we walk and listen to your music. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you're tuning in, this was Scotty McCreery and all his greatness. I want to thank you, dude, for saying yes and trusting me with the past 30 minutes of conversation with you. His new album's out. Y'all got to check it out. It's called Same Truck, and his 2018 album's probably still just as popular. So go check both of those out. And Same Truck, but that's the name of one of the singles on there. That's a thing, though. I feel like in music, you definitely have a song that's the title of the album within the album, right? That's like best practice.
Nowadays, yeah. Back in the day, it wasn't always that way, but I feel like nowadays it's kind of, that's
just a little food for thought. I just sometimes I'll throw in these random ass questions, man. But dude, for an incredible conversation, for taking care of good old Nashville. Well, I'm not there, man, but thanks for everything you just gave us.
Hey, appreciate you having me on, man. I enjoyed the convo.